right, hello everyone. My name is Megan Ellsworth here at MetalCoffeeShop.com. I'm so excited. I'm back with my friend Rob Haddock from S5, and we're talking about why you should add metal to your business offerings today. So, hi Rob, how are you?
I'm just fine as frog's hair, Megan.
Glad to hear it.
Good to see you again and good to be on your program again.
Yes, thanks for being here and spending time with me. This month's question is: more contractors are looking to get into metal. What is your advice for adding metal construction to a contracting business?
I think it's a wise thing to do. And of course, there are always the why questions. Why is it a wise thing to do? Because the metal market is growing year over year, and it's growing disproportionately to other roof types. And we can drill down into more of the whys behind that. What are the drivers? Why is it becoming more popular? But first, let me give you some numbers, or your audience some numbers. um, in new construction in the CI market, and these statistics, you got to be careful where you get statistics,
True.
because there's so many different sources out there, and some are much more credible than others. The statistics that I would recite to you are garnered from both FW Dodge as well as FMI, and I think
Okay.
you're familiar with FMI.
Yeah.
Um, I respect that outfit as far as their statistic gathering, their databases, and just how they qualify and garner statistics, and I kind of rate FMI above all others when it comes to that. They're just very meticulous in how they gather numbers,
Yeah.
and differentiate. So, metal occupies about a 30% market share within the commercial industrial space, and
Okay.
that is per FW Dodge statistics for what Dodge calls primary construction. Um, and so that's a very significant market share. It fluctuates, month over month. It's been as low as 26% and as high, in my recent memory, as high as 31 or 32. So call it roughly 30%. Um, in the residential market, metal has made huge gains over the last couple of decades and is now uh, right around 15% of the residential market. It's taken over as second most popular, behind, of course, asphalt shingles.
Wow.
Um, but if you look at a further breakdown of that, and this kind of gives you a clue as to where it's going. When you divide the residential market, and by the way, I think residential usually includes some light commercial applications as well.
Hmm.
So let's just call it steep roofing.
Hmm.
Um, when you divide from new construction and re-roof, and you separate those numbers, in new construction, metal is still single digits, and fairly low. I think it's only about 4%, which is a very low number in new construction. But the interesting thing is that in the replacement market or re-roofing market, metal is approaching 20%. So its penetration into the re-roofing market is huge and is growing year over year. And of course, as you may or may not know, the re-roofing market is like 90 some percent of the total residential roofing market. Um, it's a very high number, 80,
Yeah,
high
huge.
80%, or even crossing the threshold into 90 percentile. So that is the lion's share of the residential roofing market is re-roofing, and metal claims a number that is getting very close to 20%. I think it's at 19 right now, but it's increasing year over year. And so that makes for a trend. Um, the actual numbers in terms of that total size of those markets has diminished a little bit in 23 and 24. There's kind of a reset going on due to high interest rates, or higher. They're still not high in my judgment, but because I'm near 70 years old now, and I've seen them much, much higher than 6 and 7%. But anyway, after 2% rates and 3% rates,
Yeah.
6 or 7 is high in
Yeah.
the minds of most people. Um, so the projection, and this is and some of these numbers are from FMI surveys. FMI is retained by the Metal Construction Association every year to do these detailed market analyses, and they have just recently released the report for 2023 and projections for 2024 through 2028, so the next 4 years. Um, and and annually, I believe these are annual figures, projection figures, are quite optimistic. So, looking at single digit growth year over year and annualized, I think the non metal market is about 129 billion square feet,
Oh, wow.
and 23 billion square feet of that number, which is about 15%, is attributed or expected to be metal.
Wow. So huge, a pretty sizable market to get into.
Sizable and growing. That's the
Yeah.
key thing,
Yep.
is that it has been growing pretty consistently year over year for the last several decades.
Hmm.
Um, and so, why is it growing? Well, it's growing because of its attributes. They're becoming better and better known. Metal has always had these attributes, um, but it's getting more and more known. And those are its lifespan is at the top of the list. In fact, the reason when FMI did their survey, that was the number one reason that people are desiring to go the metal route more and more. Um, Lifespan of metal is generally anywhere from 50 to 200 years. When we talk about copper and stainless steel, it's way up, and pure zinc, it's over 100 years. Okay, but
Yeah.
most applications are coated steel, and interestingly, coated steel, now there are three different steel producers, steel mills. U.S. Steel led the way with increasing their warranty, their material warranty, which was always for Galvalume, which is a zinc aluminum alloy coating. Those warranties have always been in the 25-year range. U.S. Steel stepped out boldly. They looked at their warranty claim history, and they looked at some industry research that has been done recently by the Metal Construction Association, and they have bumped their warranty from 25 years to anywhere between 45 and 60, depending
Wow.
upon the several other factors, the thickness of the coating and painted or unpainted. Um, but at minimum is 45 years and goes all the way up to 60 for painted material and a little bit heavier coating of galvalume. Two other major U.S. steel producers followed suit shortly after that. So there are three of of the largest steel producers in the U.S. who are now offering up to 60-year warranties, material warranties.
That's
And
huge.
so, yeah, it is huge. Um, and so lifespan is, metal is, nothing is forever, right, Megan? But but the service life of metal is 2 to 3 and even 4 times what other roofing alternatives are. So
Yeah.
although it carries a premium price tag, when you think of it in those terms, um, it's outlasting other roof types by 2 or 3
Yeah.
x. And
Yeah.
and so
Substantial
the
amount for sure.
yeah, so the premium cost is justified.
Yep.
And once people have replaced their roof a time or two, they really don't want to do it again.
No.
So lifespan is its big attribute, and the second biggest FMI found was that people find it attractive.
Yeah.
Um, it looks nice,
Mhm.
so it lasts a long time. It looks nice. It's non-combustible. It's highly hail resistant. It's highly wind resistant. And a couple of factors that we're really going to see become more and more important is that everybody is concerned about sustainability. That's the buzzword, and
Yep.
low carbon footprint. Well, when all those facts become known and are more and more emphasized by building designers and the specification community and so on, um, steel roofing has and aluminum roofing have in fact, all metals have a very, very low carbon footprint.
Hmm.
And that's going to, that is becoming more and more important, not only in the US, but globally. So that's another attribute. And the last one, I've got to throw this one in, is that it's the ideal platform for solar.
Absolutely.
And solar is not going away. It is, due to a lot of incentives that are out there, including, the IRA, the passage of the IRA bill.
Hmm.
Solar makes financial sense. It just does.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that a solar PV system has a service life in the range of 30 to 35 years. Well, the financial pro forma of that energy savings due to power generation on your roof is interrupted and really decimated when you have to replace the roof. So if the solar is an investment of 3, 4, or 5 times what the roof itself is. And so if you have to dismantle all the solar, take it off the roof, replace your roof, and then put the solar back, it kind of decimates the financial pro forma of solar. So it's the most logical platform to mount solar PV, and we're going to see
Hmm.
more and more roof mounted solar PV in coming years. The estimates for what that marketplace is going to do is incredible. By the year 2030, I mean, we're talking that it will double and redouble and redouble. And right now, the roofing space that's available to
For
mount
solar.
solar
Yeah.
is huge. There's only about 4% of the roofing space that's out there currently that has solar mounted on it. So there are plenty of rooftops to mount solar, and metal is the best roof for the reasons of service life
Yeah.
expectancies.
Yeah, and it like you said, it looks great. And I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, I don't want a solar panels because they're ugly and blah blah blah." But if you have a beautiful roof to put the solar panels on, it just elevates it a little bit. So maybe they are ugly to you, but if you have metal that looks great, the solar panels will look a little better too.
Yeah. Well, I have seen solar installations that look pretty ugly,
Yeah.
but you know, but they don't, just the way that that industry has developed and matured over time. Nobody stands them up like this anymore,
Yeah.
and that's most of what looks ugly. They're
Hmm.
laid uh, typically they're laid planar to the roof,
Hmm.
and so they're much less noticeable, and that's the way solar is typically done now.
Yeah.
um, so anyway, um, so those are a lot of good reasons that roofing contractors should consider adding metal to their repertoire.
Hmm.
It's also a good reason for the roofing contractor to add solar to his repertoire.
Ding, ding,
Because as I
ding.
said a moment ago, the cost of solar is 3 to 4 times, even 5 times what the cost of the roof is. So it's an immediate increase to the revenue for the roofing contractor. And frankly, um, so many people who are in the solar installation business don't really know much of anything about roofing.
Yeah.
So the roofing contractor is really kind of a logical alternative to put solar in his offering. And just recently, Megan, the one of the largest solar publications that's out there, called Solar Power World,
Oh.
in their most recent edition, I think it only came out yesterday or day before, has a very lengthy article on this subject in particular, and it's called let's see, it's called Solar Plus Roofing: A
Oh, wow.
Step-by-Step Guide. Um, I can zip you
Yeah.
a link or something
Please
if you
do.
like. But it's
That'd be great.
yeah, it's the publication again is Solar Power World, and it's the most current edition of that publication. So it makes sense for roofing contractors who are not engaged in metal to check it out
Hmm.
and look into it, and it makes even more sense to look into the field of solar. And of course, that'd be true on any roof,
Yeah.
but it's just that metal is the best choice when it comes to mounting solar on a
Truly.
roof.
Truly.
Um, so that's some advice. There is a caution note, though.
Okay.
Metal roofing is pretty unforgiving of installation error, and so using well trained, experienced labor is a very, very key thing, because when you make a mistake with some types of metal roofing, it's really hard to correct. You have to do it. You get one chance to do it right, and beyond that, I mean, it's very difficult to correct installation errors, especially in mechanically
Yeah.
seamed metal roofs. And as we know, everybody knows, finding good, qualified, skilled labor is a tough
It's
proposition
tough.
these days. But
But
it's
yeah.
even more crucial when it comes to installing metal roofing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Rob, this has been so informative, and there are more training possibilities and opportunities out there now through the MCA and through other organizations to learn more about metal. So, everyone go check those out on MetalCoffeeShop.com, and you can learn more about S5 and everything that they do on their directory on Metal Coffee Shop as well. And thank you, Rob. This has been amazing.
And I just launched my new website. I've never had a personal website. I've always had the S5 website, of course, but check out my personal website. It's just rmhaddock.com. R like Rob, M like Marshall. That's my middle name. rmhaddock.com.
Yes, that's amazing. I'll have to go check it out myself. Everyone go look it up and I'll be chatting with you next month, Rob.
All right. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend.
Thank you. You too.